What makes an anime protagonist? Is it in their design, ability, skills, appearance, shoes, intelligence, diet, glasses, friends, gender, sex appeal, religion, plot armor, what rank they are on Halo, which YouTuber they're subscribed to, or even the hair? Well, worry no longer, because I am not going to address any of that. Hello and welcome to my video. What is a plain protagonist and why I hate them? Because they're trash. Okay, a bit of a disclaimer. I will be going through quite a few shows, so be prepared for spoilers from the list I present to you now. SAO, My Hero Academia, The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter, SAO Abridged, Earmaker, Konosuba, ReZero, Overlord, and a host of romantic animes that I'm not bothered to name or cover. Okay, got it? Let's go! Now, you may be thinking, what do I mean by plain protagonist? Well, to answer that question, basically, I consider a plain protagonist to be a character with a specific mindset, design, age, attitude, few of any flaws, and some secret ability, item, or tool which automatically makes them better than all the CGI peasants around them. But this can be altered by aspects of the time, place, or world they inhabit. Now, throughout this video, I will be talking about 4 main examples of a plain protagonist, 2 that do it wrong and 2 that do it right, along with several protagonists that are not plain for the sake of contrast. When talking about plain protagonists, the title of king belongs to the highly acclaimed Kirito from the VR chat inspired show that is SAO. This is one of the most popular characters known and hated by the anime fanbase. To put it simply, Kirito is a basic bitch, with a personality so bland that I had to recount myself on the entire 4 seasons of homebrew protagonist, and even now I find myself forgetting what makes Kirito a unique character. This is because there is nothing. Each aspect of the character was recycled from the best features of other creations, and by best, I mean what would make Kirito the most likable character. The thing about Kirito is that there isn't really that much bad things about him, but there's not really much good about him either. Apart from his ability to randomly learn to hack, that was some real bullshit. Throughout this series, you can see very little change in this character outlook, with the only exception being the beginning where several of his friends die, causing him to go into a slight depression, which is then pretty much forgotten about after a few more episodes, and the time Kirito goes into a coma, which I have neatly decided to name the Komato arc / best arc, where I kid you not, the story actually becomes interesting. Without Kirito as a main character, you get some good character development for the better characters, and a lot less Kirito, making the viewing experience 200% more enjoyable. On a scale between 1 and 10 of being a plain protagonist, I will have to put Kirito as a 4, mainly because throughout the show, Kirito shows almost no change in a physical or mental sense. It would be lower, but I do think he redeems himself by going into a coma for several months. Thanks, Riki Kawahara. Again, my rating is 4 out of 10. If you like emo guys with parental issues, you will enjoy Death Note. Not this. Like, what are you doing? It's on Netflix right now. Go watch it. It's a fucking masterpiece. What do you expect? While I give SAO a bad name, it is nothing compared to what I'm about to show you next. The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter is possibly one of the worst animes I have ever watched, and I watched X-Arm. I cannot put down on paper how much I dislike this anime, from the story to the animation. The side characters are only okay and come off as basic tropes, but the thing that I absolutely hate the most has got to be the absolutely idiotic bastard that is Nostalgia. This dense motherfucker. Now this little bitch is by far the least effort I have ever seen in creating a protagonist. While SAO uses previous character traits for Kirito, The Hidden Dungeon Only I Could Enter took it a step further. They took those traits and dumbed them the fuck down so much that even I think a fish would be able to realize what type of character this little bitch is. The main thing about plain protagonists you need to know is they are dense. So dense. But this guy takes it to its illogical extreme. Just for example, in the first episode, a girl says her cleavage is too big, so Nor, the brilliant strategist he is, using his power that lets him make or do practically anything, shrinks them. I know this is supposed to be a rom-com of sorts, if you could even call it that, but I don't know who would find this funny. I was there at my monitor, cringing the entire time. Who the fuck wrote this? Okay, I found the author. It's Meguro Seto, but I also found out this is a light novel. I don't know what to say. I thought this was anime original. Someone read this book and decided, yes, this deserves an anime and a motherfucking dub. That's right, baby. You can watch this in English. What a glorious idea. Did I mention this is a harem anime? Yeah, that's right, baby. This guy has girls on the side. That's right, this cook gets more girls than you. Are ya feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? If you can't already tell, I hate this motherfucker. This is one series, and it is more than enough, or more than it fucking deserves. There are some good ideas, such as a class system, which is brought up only once in maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then never comes up again. Basically what I'm saying is, Meguro Seto, I hate what you've made. And I hope your creation doesn't get a second series. Wow, the series really did a number on me. And on that bright note, 1 out of 10. Watch only if you want to commit self-harm or show it to your wife for domestic abuse. Okay, now I think I may have given off a bit of a negative opinion of the plain protagonist, but I assure you, it's not all bad. My Hero Academia / Boku no Hero Academia / X-Men Days of Future Boku no Piku, because let's face it, this is just Japan's version of the X-Men. My Hero Academia is good and its protagonist, young Midoriya, is pretty decent. But what makes this character so superior to his plain compatriots? A diet of his teacher's hair.
Finally. Some good fucking food.
Young Midoriya is an easy to use, repastable character that is, at the beginning of the series, pretty pathetic. I mean basic. Almost all the character traits for Midoriya are overused in other anime series. There is very little that makes him unique. The main thing that defines Deku as a character is his introvertness and his hunger for power. These are both common traits found in most shonen animes, such as Fire Force, Demon Slayer, and of course, the highly acclaimed Cory in the House, the holiday special. Anyway, back on topic. Comparing Deku to Kirito, you immediately start to see a difference in character. One likes to fight with his fist, the other has a really long sword, if you know what I mean. One starts off strong and doesn't really change that much, the other starts off weak, then eats some hair. Bodybuilders hate him. But the main difference between these two characters are how they are handled after the first season. And oh boy, is there a difference. While My Hero Academia takes great pride in developing their characters, even if we really don't want to see it, there is usually a certain amount of time to shine for each character, except Diabito. He just makes cake and that's all you need to know. But you can't say the same for SAO. The characters stay the same for the entire storyline, with the biggest change being his coma, and spoiler warning, 3, 2, 1, nothing really significant happens. If I learned anything from this today, it's that coma arcs are really good for character development, and that I should push myself beyond my limits even if it risks my limbs and mental state. Welcome to Demon School earmaker. This anime is basically the opposite to the hidden dungeon only I can enter, mainly because it's good and I enjoy it, especially the protagonist. While Noor comes off as a completely incompetent and pathetic bug that needs to be squashed, Irmakon comes off as an inexperienced and unsure of himself individual. This is mainly due because of one big difference: context. Context is key in every aspect of life, especially in character development. Throughout the beginning of Irmakon, you are immediately made aware of the conditions leading the character to this point. Used as forced labor, sold off by parents to Demon. Demon wants him to be grandson. He becomes grandson. Goes to Demon School, yada yada. Anyway, the context as to why the character acts that way is there, and the writer obviously put in effort to explain it. Unlike this little shit. Yes, that is right, I am looking at you. Go burn in a dumpster fire for all I care. And another thing, you can tell this character is dumb, but it's in a kind of charming way. Kind of the same as Chris Griffin from Family Guy. The author leans into the comedic element of this show through his characters. This especially can be seen through Irma, where his attempts to be kept unnoticed leads him to unwinding his way into direct conflict with the students he fears will eat him. Now let's look at some not plain protagonists from some series that are hundreds of times better than these frauds. Guy gets isekai'd and becomes evil Skeletor Prime. Along the way he meets friends, and together they create genocide of peace. Because reasons. Ainz Ulgon or Momonga is actually a pretty great character, with some great writing, showing him go from a hesitant and nervous leader to an overlord who will show no mercy to his enemies. The show takes great liberties in showing how far this character is willing to secure his future and overall win. The main advantage of this protagonist over the others is how he is shown to plan out his moves well in advance, with large amounts of preparation in his work. He doesn't just go in guns blazing because he's extremely cautious and in some aspects overestimates his opponents. Another strong point is that this is told from the side of the bad guy. In this anime, he is the Demon King, the devil. He is as evil as how Christians see Little Nas after he released that video. This is not a character that is redeemable. While he starts out by doing what he thinks is right, his path is soon disoriented by the individuals around him which he calls friends, causing him to go down a dark path. Two more great examples include Kazuma from Konosuba and Subaru from Re:Zero. Both of these characters, while this time going on the hero's story, are shown to have fundamental problems due to their past lifestyles, both of which are from shutting themselves away from everyone and everything, only to be thrown into an unfamiliar world and being forced to handle the most difficult thing to ever grace the surface of this world: socialization. Joking aside, what I actually meant to say was adapting. These characters were ripped from their own worlds to something completely new, and we see their hopelessness begin to muster as they realize the hopelessness of their situation. Another point I failed to mention with the plain protagonists earlier is the fact that they tend to space out, begin inner monologues, and have backstory montages. So many montages. My Hero Academia is probably the biggest offender, with every fight being interrupted by Deku either saying, "Wow, you're so strong," or "I need to become stronger." It's fine when done in a medium amount, but most plain anime characters will use one of these space out moments, most often during fights. This in turn causes things to ground to a halt, but this isn't really the case for these three animes. While yes, there are some occasions of this being shown in these animes, most of the story and monologue is physically spoken or acted or shown. They tend to focus less on the monologue and only usually bring it up when the matter is either secretive or comedic in nature, and this is only usually kept in reserve to not slow down the pace of the story. But the biggest thing that changes between plain and non-plain protagonists is the flaws or behavior of said characters. For instance, throughout SAO we get to follow through Kirito's long line of adventures as he goes through them quite easily, but the enjoyment fades because that character as a whole is way too likable. There was no flaws that could be fixed or improved on, and so it made the character become less human-like and more of a power fantasy. To keep in mind, some people enjoy these types of characters, but luckily for us, there is a much more likable version at a slice of the price of a Crunchyroll subscription. That's right, we're looking at SAO Abridged. In this case, Kirito Abridged. SAO Abridged is possibly one of my favorite fan creations ever made, and my second favorite dub ever created. Ghost Stories still holds number one.
Think of a big black man chasing you! Well, he's not racist.
All you need to do is look into those eyes and you can see why he is so superior to base Kirito. This character has no redeemable qualities, but to make up for it, he is given a god complex and the best comedic dialogue out of any anime I've ever seen.
Just stay calm. You already have everything you need to beat it.
The power to believe in myself?
No, a knife! Stab it!
Kirito Abridged is a lot more unique and interesting because of how he deviates and goes in the complete opposite direction of the original Kirito. It is kinda hard to not give a damn about this show with amazing dialogue and actually interesting characters that I actually give a damn about. Not even a plain protagonist anymore. In short, the way to make anime better is to make all your characters so irredeemable that you almost think that they can be redeemable, but in reality can't be, and cause several genocides with said character, because it is still way more interesting than this fag, and by that I mean cigarette. Cigarette is also known as fag in Ireland. Basically what I am saying is this little prick is a cancer inducing thing that no one wants but we're stuck with anyway. So basically this will give you cancer. You now have cancer. Thank you for watching, subscribe, thanks. This video was a mess to make. I appreciate you coming all the way to the end. Thank you, adios.